This is Varun Shekhar RC on an exciting journey with all of you so that we together can operate at our absolute best and lead a life of pure excellence. I hope you all are doing incredibly well, exceptionally well, and I'm sure enough you are already on a path to achieve that mighty mission which you have set with a deep sense of commitment and love. So a loud shout of applause to all of you, and keep up doing your great work with consistency. Congratulations. So, today I'm going to speak of two interrelated habits which we are very fond of and which we have already cultivated it without any effort. It probably would have come within our DNA, and humans are very fond of those two habits. When I was in my engineering and during my hostel days, my dad used to say, I don't know what sort of academic degree you're going to hold, but you people already have held a degree which is far more commendable than a PhD degree in this. And when I asked what is that, he said it's laziness and procrastination. Yeah. These are the two topics which I am going to discuss today. Yes, during those days it was there very much, but as far as I am concerned, it's a new me today, and due to his motivation, inspiration, he has helped me a lot in overcoming these two habits, and also my self-effort has played a very prominent role. So thank you, Dad, for that. So let's come back and start our topic. So how I would be approaching is, we will be taking two cases, set of scenarios in case 1 and another set of scenarios in case 2. Okay, so let me start it. Okay. Yeah, so how do you feel when you know that you're actually going for that favorite game of yours, or say for example, let us say you're going to a music concert with your partner, or that special dinner with your friend in just an hour or so? How do you feel? Or let's take another example. How do you feel when you're getting ready for your bestie's wedding? Girls, if you're watching my video, you can feel that enthusiasm, that zeal you carry with yourself, right? Okay, so where does this happen? How do you feel? You feel very charged up, you feel pumped up, and in some of the scenarios or cases or situations, you feel as if you are the most active person on this planet, right? So where do you think all this happen? How does this happen? Have you ever gone deep into that? And the answer lies in this simple fact or word, INTEREST. Interest, interest, and interest. Your whole body, mind, heart and soul are completely channelized in doing towards that work with 100% interest and passion. And so you would be able to contribute or engage yourself in that work effortlessly. There is in these situations, there is really no space for an iota of space or a trace of laziness and procrastination, right? Very true. So far so good. Let me take the second case. So here we have a set of scenarios. Say for example, you're working on a problem or a code, and you want to take that 5 minutes Facebook or WhatsApp break. So what do you think? You're going to settle with that 5 minutes and then come back to work? Right? No, it's not going to happen, and by the time you come back, it would be an hour or so. There you go, your first step to laziness and procrastination. So, or say for example, you have a work in hand and you have a sort of time frame, say for example 15 days or 20 days, whatever it might be, to complete that work. So what you do, instead of putting that first foot forward, you actually see that time frame. Okay, I have this much amount of time. Should I really start doing it today? Let me start it tomorrow. Today is not a good day. Today is not the right day. Conditions are not good. You come up with all sorts of excuses, and somehow you convince yourself and push that work for tomorrow. Procrastination, right? And there are some sort of people, they do not want to procrastinate. They have a job in hand, they really want to put that first foot forward, but they have that, the starting trouble. Where do I start? starting a fear of anxiety, fear of failure. So they go into that what if situation. What if I fail? What if I stuck in between after finishing 50% of the work? What if I end up doing some messy things? So they create this imaginary situations which do not have any role to play in the present context. And what are you going to achieve of thinking some imaginary things? Why do you go to that what if analysis? You can always invest the time and energy in concentrating on the work. So tell me one good thing that has happened to you by keeping yourself in that, or creating that imaginary boundary and doing that what if analysis with all precision and accuracy. What's going to happen? Nothing is going to happen, because you just keep thinking. The worst thing that is going to happen with this is you're creating a feeling of insecurity within your brain, because you're constantly thinking of such imaginary situations and your brain is wired into doing that, and it becomes cluttered. And you think a cluttered mind can invest its time and invest its energy in doing the present activity? Definitely not. Your productivity goes down. So this is the main cause for this laziness and procrastination. So when all those imaginary situation comes to mind, somehow people convince themselves and try to push that work for the next hour or next day. So what I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, you must not have that guilt feeling that I could have done better. I could have done it with more accuracy and precision if I had started a bit earlier. Right? So that should not happen. It's like with a person who has an interview, a call letter in hand, but he does not go to the venue, leave alone attending the interview. Why? Because he has a fear of failure. Now how am I going to present myself? What if I fail in the interview? What if I get stuck in the second round of interview? He just again creates that imaginary situation. So please don't do that. Please stop doing that unruly act. If you continue to do that, you will be left in that vast sea of averageness and mediocrity, and I am sure that you are not born to lead that type of life. Are you? No, right? So then why do you wait for that perfect conditions to happen? Why do you wait for that perfect time to come? Start executing and then build the perfect moment, right? So what actually is happening inside the brain? Have you ever thought? I do not go into the psychological terms, the technical terms, but I would like to explain it in a layman fashion. What is actually happening? What is actually causing the laziness and procrastination? Please listen to this carefully for a minute or two. There is two parts of the brain. One, I call it as a working part of the brain, and another one is called as the playing part of the brain. So the working part of the brain is very much dedicated and committed. The playing part of the brain, it's just like let us call it as a monkey. So when you have a work in task, the working part says, hey Varun, you have a work in hand, you have this amount of time, start doing it right now without any excuses. And when Varun is about to start the work, the playing part of the brain comes into picture and says, hey, there is a crucial match that is going on between India and Pakistan, let's finish and then head towards our doing that work. And when you are about to shut the TV, suddenly that favorite serial of Friends pops up and you say, oh my god, what a lovely serial, let me finish this episode and then let me go back to work. And sure enough, that playing part of the brain wins most of the times, and there you go, your productivity goes down. I mean, I'm not saying you that you should not relax, you should not take a break, but understand that there is something which has higher priority, which has, which is quite critical. It needs your immediate action. So when such things are there, concentrate on that. That is what I am trying to say with all this. Don't come out of that distractions. So when you happen to be in that distraction, that is where you are ending up with this letharginess, laziness, and the so-called procrastination. Guys, many of us All of us want to overcome laziness, all of us want to overcome procrastination. We all have a goal, we want to do something, but the main frightening question is, where do I start? How do I start? When do I start? So what is the solution? How do I overcome this? You want to know the answer? The solution is no more complications, no more confusions. Enough is enough. Start doing it right here, right now. Period. Take it seriously, guys. You have to take that first foot forward. Otherwise, nothing is going to happen. You're not going to achieve anything. You want to build that dream house. You want to be the best in your workplace. You want to be the best programmer. You want to be the best photographer, or you want to have that perfect fitness regime. You want to do that? Then start doing it. Take that first critical step. It's good to dream, it's good to research about what you're going to do, it's good about discussing the pros and cons of it, but there are certain limitations. Most of the people, they just keep researching, they just keep dreaming, they just keep debating the pros and cons of that mission and goal, and they feel a sense of pleasure within themselves that they have achieved something by just doing all this without acting on it. No chap, you haven't achieved anything unless you start executing on it. That muscles or your body doesn't going to become healthy by itself if you just keep thinking you want to be healthy, or the miraculous piece of code does not come running all the way through and make you the best software developer, or that cameras does not come and hang around your neck and make you the best photographer. You have to take that action and trust your instincts. And if you're a wise person, your instincts definitely say stop, enough of your dream, enough of your research, start acting on it. Go deep in yourself, understand what you really want, what is the mission, what is the objective, understand the criticality and act upon it right now. When you do that, right here. No more excuses. Have that firm determination. In such situation, get that adrenaline rush, feel pumped up, feel charged up. Understand, guys, life is too short for all of us to play the game of averageness and mediocrity. Stop doing insane things and start doing amazing things. Definitely you will see a new you, and you would be yielding some productive results, right? So I guess I have made some sense as to why this laziness occurs and why do we procrastinate, what is internally happening within ourselves and the root cause of it. So now I would be discussing some critical suggestions and tips that we all can imbibe, so that we will not be left with even a small trace of laziness and procrastination hereafter. Right? So let's start with that. Tip number 1, plan your goals. Very important. So most of the people, they will be spending their time aimlessly. They will be spending 5 minutes, they fail the interest, then they take another 10 minutes with some other task, then again they go for work number 3 because they do not have a proper goal in their mind, and they spend time doing all aimlessly without any result. Zero productivity. So what I suggest is a plan the goal. Have the goal in your mind. So when you have the goal in your mind, divide that goal into smaller pieces. So take a piece of paper and a pen and jot it down. Divide it into smaller pieces and allot some time to each of this. So what is the advantage of writing? So when you do that, you're actually creating a positive pressure within you. So I use that word positive pressure. Listen to it carefully. It's not going to create any stress or anxiety or hypertension, but it's actually helping your brain to be more productive. Because in case when you try to get attracted towards laziness and procrastination, you can open the chit and say, okay, these are the missions I have, this much of time I have, this is the time which I have dedicated, and I do not have any more time for laziness and procrastination because I have to do it right here, right now. right? Understand that. So plan your goals, and number two, plan your time. Number three, plan your resources very well. So this is where you can save a lot amount of time. Most of the people, they have a goal in mind, they would have done that first two things, but they just go and hit that without without planning for the resources. Again, you are going to fail. So plan the resources, see the things which you already have, see what is what are the initial prerequisites that particular goal demands. So for example, you are attending an interview, it's you need to understand the job's role, you need to understand the job responsibilities, you need to understand the skills what they are asking, what type of rounds they are asking. So these are some of the initial resources. And how do you actually plan? What are the resources you have, what are the resources you want? So plan for that. The next fourth thing is plan the process. Very significant thing. The psychology tells that if you visualize the process, so in our case the interview process, if the person visualize the whole interview process, the subconscious brain gets deceived in a manner that it feels that this work has already been done. So then it feels this as a repetitive task instead of a fresh task, and it's a lot more easier for humans to perform a repetitive task than a fresh task. The biggest advantage of planning the process and visualizing the process, do that. I have done it in a few instances, and it has really worked me, because your subconscious brain is already wired into that, saying that okay, this is not it does not see the task as a fresh task anymore, it sees it as a more of a repetitive task. And what's the advantage of it? That level of stress and anxiety really comes down by a large level. So next, plan for distraction. So this is where most of us go wrong. You would be doing some work, as I said, and as soon as you encounter a roadblock or a barrier, what you do is you say, oh my god, I have completed I have done so much of work, let me take a break. It's not that you really want to take the break, I'm telling you, it's just that you have a roadblock, you have a barrier in front of you, and you just want to avoid it. What's the advantage of doing it? Even if you come and revisit after 365 days, the problem is going to be there, right there, until you take that first step and resolve it. So plan for this distraction. So make a firm determination that this problem is there. I'm not going to get out of my chair until I solve that problem. Because the moment you solve that problem and then relax and then look back, probably you would be the most happiest person on this planet, guys. I mean, I'm telling you, you can really feel that immense pleasure within you. And lastly, which I want to say, is that plan for failures, because that's very important. When you have a plan A, God forbid, even after putting your best honest effort, that plan A might fail. So in such scenarios, have plan B in place. So what happens is, again, when you go into the deep, your subconscious brain is already accepting the failures. It is ready for the failures. So it knows that worst case scenario is that I might fail in my plan A, but I already have a plan B in process. So what is the advantage? Again, that fear of failure. Even if you fail in plan A, you do not have that level of stress or frustration, because your brain is already prepared to accept that failure. So plan for failures, very important thing. So go through these steps, practice these steps over a period of time. I mean, definitely it's going to yield productive results, because it has I have tried it personally. I have tried it for not just 1 month or 2 months. I have practiced it over years and months together. So do that, and definitely you are going to see the new you, and there would be no trace of laziness and procrastination here afterwards. I hope this video was really helpful to all of you. So if you like this video, please leave a comment and share it with as much people as possible, so that I could be of an instrument of service to more and more people. So lots of love and affection to all of you. Until then, all smiles and positive thoughts. Take care. Bye bye. And I would like to add one more thing. If you want to discuss more of such stuff, you can always contact me or drop me a mail on my Gmail, varunshekharrc92@gmail.com, VARUNSHEKHARRC92@gmail.com. So Again, all smiles and positive thoughts. All the best, guys. Take care. Bye bye.